This idea just came to me out of nowhere. Since it's the end of the New Year's, I didn't really have a special video plan. So I just decided to do this video on a whim. So it's a bit clunky, but hope you guys don't mind. And if you just want to skip to a certain number in the video, like number 15 or number 1, then I'll list the timestamps after this. But if you don't want to see that, then skip to this time frame just to skip all that. Okay. Honorable mentions are Tribes of Midgar with this Minecraft style of crafting materials making it a bit addicting, and Fossil Fighters with its neat concept of bringing fossils to life so you have them battle. Coming in at number 17, Pokemon Heart Gold, my least favorite Pokemon game on here and my least favorite game. The Johto starters are the weakest of the starters to me. But Johto has some good gym leaders with them in terms of difficulty and in character. Lance is a good champion that helps you through your journey, but the Johto region is just a weak region to me, and I have some problems with their legendary, but that's all I have to say. Coming in at number 16, Elden Ring, the game that was the game of the year, but to me far from it. Elden Ring as a game, it would have been a clean top 5 at my first playthrough, but after replaying it, I just kind of fell out of it. It's a game that I don't really want to go back to. With some of its reskin bosses making me really upset with them being unnecessary. Sometimes like Gold Godfrey with him just being an absolute reskin, or that God or clone in the Everjail. Those two reskins make me mad because they don't really change the bosses in any meaningful way to when you actually fight them again. Then the open world of Elden Ring is not bad, but there were some times to where I would just be led to nowhere that didn't suit my character. That was just a strength build at the moment. Elden Ring is a game I feel nothing towards, and I don't know how to really sum up my feeling towards it. I just feel nothing. Flying in or lighting up number 15. I didn't know what to say for this one. It's got Children of Light, a nice little game where you play as this little child of light, going around the world helping people get their light back, giving people candles with the emphasis on friendship really, and mostly wanting you to make friends in this game, right? But it also has its own nice little gameplay with not fighting really, but with movement, with flight, skipping, and walking, which are all fast in their own right. Sorry. And with some secret storytelling or hidden storytelling to where all the levels you go through represent a time in your life, with this one being the scariest of them all and being the final level too. It does have really emphasis on combat, but it can be really scary sometimes, like I said about this level. It's a nice little game, right, that you should check out, especially for its movement. It's really fun to move in this game. So yeah, that's all I have to say for Sky Children of Light. Multiverses at number 14. Boy, I have a lot to say about Multiverses. Still trying to get that Tom and Jerry skin. But let's talk about some of the characters I like. Black Adam main over here. Really fun combos with this character. And Tom and Jerry main, of course. I'm a bit of a fan of Tom and Jerry. But still, right, with its flaws. I don't like the dodge mechanic in Multiverses. It makes passive play really annoying. Especially with how characters can dodge across the whole screen. Like this Bugs Bunny, for example, on how it's so hard to touch him, especially with the dodge mechanic, meaning to where if I do try to approach him, he can just dodge really fast, and especially with how many times you can dodge. But that's all I have to really say for Multiverses. Not much to it. Love the game, but man, coming out number 13, God of War, or God of War 4, whatever you like to call it. Didn't even know God of War Ragnarok was coming out. I didn't even know that game existed. But yeah, to the actual game, the combat wasn't lighting my world on fire. The grounded gameplay I wasn't a fan of. Like for example, Sonic and the Black Knight had some grounded gameplay, but it still at least had like perfect hits and the soul gauge, which was really fun to use, and perfectly timed the hits. This one, it had runic attacks with some combos, but still, it just wasn't lighting my world on fire. I just felt I played better. But I love this story with Atreus and Kratos slowly understanding each other. Kratos growing as a father. Especially this is my first time seeing it. He does have his moments to where he's a bit of a douche. And Atreus' whole God arc was just forced to me. Not really well executed, especially for how much it went against his character. But I still do like this story, and I do recommend the game. Love this father-son dynamic, and it has its good moments like this. Smashing down number 12 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where, let's get out the way, World of Light isn't a noteworthy story. It has its fun little gimmicks in there with some gang fights being frustrating, a haunted house level that actually tries to scare you, and with the Metal Mario section, but still, right, it isn't a noteworthy story. Smash is mostly known for its competitive gameplay, right? With its varied cast of characters, I main Kirby and Incineroar, and with some good online and really competitive play, it's really fun to play online. Not much to say about it because I didn't grow up with Smash, so I don't have much of a connection with it. Crashing in at number 11. Fine. Crashing in at number 11 is Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. With its really simple story collecting Master Save the Universe, and with fun boss fights, but with a disappointing boss being Entropy, where some story holes come into where Tina leaves you, and yet nothing really comes out of it, to where it's like none of the characters question, hey, you left us to go fight them alone, and what happened to your dead friends? Oh, let's just kind of gloss over that, you know, but still, right? Still having fun bosses, even the two Entropy twins being a bit disappointing but still fun to fight, with just, you know, frustrating platforming. It was just a nice time as my first Crash game. Crowning themselves at number 10 is Sonic and the Black Knight. Sonic being crowned King Arthur, you like that time? But yeah, Sonic as a character is characterized well here, ready to do evil just to help people. King Arthur and his knights aren't too special. Knuckles does have a good moment with him about to kill himself. And Sonic's relationship with Caliburn is nice, how they slowly grow respect for each other. It's just nice to see, especially how they bounce off each other. And the game has good swordplay with you having your emphasis on timing your hits perfectly. Merlina as a twist villain somewhat works because she had a bit of setup, but still. The story's just paced too fast, which is sad because it does have a nice message. Bordering the Lands on number 9 is Borderlands 2. I love Borderlands 2. With this fun Vault Hunter Krieg, I only got to play one of each from each Borderlands game I played, but yes, Krieg was a fun Vault Hunter. He was my least favorite out of the others I played, but yes, he was a fun Vault Hunter, with his emphasis on melee style being fun, especially with the dynamite thing, and just exploding yourself to get a second win. It was fun. But there was times where he was a bit punishing, like hitting himself in the blue skill tree. But that wasn't too bad when I respec again. I loved all the DLC I had access to, giving the game a bit of longevity. Then, Handsome Jack as a villain was great, loving his jokes from start to finish, and seeing his hand in the boss fight. And the Warrior possibly my favorite final boss out of the Borderlands games I played. But the other Borderlands game would rank higher for like their quality of life things that they have, like movement and their weapons such. Borderlands 2 is a good game, definitely recommend it. But yeah, let's move on to number 8. Already gonna ship to faraway lands, or to Elpis perhaps, is Borderlands the P-sequel at number 8. Nisha being one of my favorite Vault Hunters, and also giving her more character, but also being amazing to play. Just aimbot everywhere. Come on guys, you don't have to aim in this shooting game. But yeah, I love her as a Vault Hunter. She's really fun with not needing to aim, and also giving her more character. And the story, seeing how Jack came to power, and setting up his little fight or feud with Lilith and Roland. Already setting that up, especially seeing as why he distrusts people. Now, let's also talk about one little thing, the zero gravity feature. I just love this feature. It makes traveling more fun, especially a bit faster. And the laser weapons are also pretty cool. I wish they'd come back. They're just really cool. And some of my favorite weapons in there. But yeah, that's all I have to really say for... Oh yeah, the DLC too, sorry. The DLC, while it wasn't as much as Borderlands 2, they still did have good to them. Especially the Claptrap DLC, looking inside a character. Especially as one as jokey as Claptrap. Pokemon Emerald, the game that has too much water at number 7. With this game having some of the strongest set of starters, with Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip being some of the cutest first stages. They all have a bit of weird, awkward second stages, but with strong final evolutions. With the story not being that bad, right? Even though it's still a bit weird with like flooding or trying to burn the earth, right? There still is like good pacing involved with Maxie and Archie realizing their dumb decision. And Rayquaza, who was pretty cool as a legendary and has some bit of setup. I didn't like this setup too much, and being one of the hardest Pokemon games in general. Coming in at number 6 is fittingly Sonic 06. But with its interesting story of Mephiles actually being tied with Solaris and introducing my favorite Sonic character, Silver the Hedgehog, with him being my favorite to play as, and Sonic as second. I love his moments with Elise just chilling and hanging out with her and them having a good time. With my least favorite being Shadow, sadly enough. I just hate how Omega just walks in the future. But he still has good moments. Like him just accepting that Omega's gonna take him out in the future. But still a good moment for Shadow. And the final boss fight with Solaris is a bit of a spectacle and fairly hard for what it is. So yeah, that's what lands it at its number 6. To me. Now that we're at the top 5, everything doesn't look so black and white. But yes, coming at number 5 is Pokemon White version. With the starters not being the best, but they're not bad either. They're alright. And with the story being good, especially tackling people and Pokemon's relationship as one, and being decently hard with Clay as one of the harder gym leaders, and having one of the best legendaries, especially in terms of like an actual goal in the story, and is a well set up antagonist, especially becoming the champion, and Ghetts as being a neat twist villain. This ranks it at number 5. Let's go back to where it all started. At number 4, Pokemon's Legend Arceus. With the starter set being strong. Okay, I'm kind of saying that just because of I love that little guy. But with you also helping building up a relationship between the Diamond and Pearl clans, you seeing what you can earn from side quests, especially with them being side quests, so they're not mandatory. And you building up a bond with your professor and your best friend Akari, and having little moments to where you see people in Pokemon support each other, like this scene where Shinx made you happy. And Volo as a friend is actually really well done. It just makes him more surprising as a twist villain, especially with him helping you in your time of need. And seeing that slow build up that you added with the Diamond and Pearl clan leader, see it return and help you. And adding more to legendary Pokemon. Whenever there's Yang, there's Yang. But it's not just two sides, there's a third side. But yes, coming out at number 3 is Pokemon Black 2. With the starter set being the same, so I won't comment on them. But introducing my favorite rival, that being Q. And also expanding on characters like Sharon, making him a gym leader, and giving these new gym leaders spotlight, especially since the old ones already did, like Roxy over here. But yes, with Kieran also being a monstrosity, and this game also giving us access to older Pokemon along with Unova Pokemon, and end speech to his father, Ghetsis. I just say that this game has a better story than Pokemon White. Second favorite game, Borderlands 3. Where do I start? Giving me my favorite Borderlands boss, that being Troy Eclipso. I just love this boss fight. Amora as a Vault Hunter is amazing, especially with the new system they added with the skill trees, with you being able to change your action skill, having it have a whole different animation too. It's just a better system that I like, right? Especially with giving guns more depth, right, to where it's like down on the D-pad and you can switch them up. I especially love the story of you going through the vaults, especially with the Eclipso twins. I love them as antagonists. They're both funny, and they really do have a childlike persona to them, and they do have a good sibling bond. It's just a fun ride, especially with the final boss. It's just a good fight, and that's all I have to say for Borderlands 3. Just my favorite Borderlands game, and I love it. I especially love the slide mechanic they have, but yeah, that's all. Love this game. Pokemon Scarlet is my favorite game of 2022 and my favorite Pokemon game. The set of starters that you get are possibly the best, my favorite probably. The cast of characters, I love them all. I don't even have a single one I hate. And the 3 paths that you could choose really do explore the characters, or at least characterize them well. And the game is fairly difficult, with Mel being a difficult roadblock. And there are some funny moments in the game, with this game also having some of my favorite designs. Geico being one of them, and Mel, especially with their fire boots. Area 0 is one of my favorite areas, and giving Koraidon, my favorite Pokemon, a really good arc. Phew! Well, that's it. That's it for 2022. I hope everybody enjoyed this year. Probably not. But yeah, this was just some fun little project I wanted to do. It came up really late at the end of the year, so yeah. Hopefully I managed to at least make this video somewhat decent. And I'm gone for 2022. Let's just hop into a better year.